everyone, welcome to Onyx Coale's YouTube channel. This is Sierra, her daughter, if you don't know me, and today I've got a David Schmidt interview, so make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Enjoy!
So I guess I wanted to start, the first question, David, I wanted to start with is just a general question of how you started on this whole LifeWave journey, just so people can, get a bit of background, please.
Well, that's a huge question. But, I think the first thing that I would say is from when I was very young, 7, 8 years old, I wanted to be an inventor. And that was for a long time a running joke between my dad and I, because my dad said, well, there's no such job, so you can't be an inventor. And, that didn't make any sense to me. And, one of the lessons to come out of that is never let anybody, especially the people that love you in your life, steal your dreams. If there's something you want to do in life, you should go ahead and do it. But it really started at a very early age. I knew I wanted to be an inventor, and I had not really so much an idea about in what. I was raised in a Catholic family. Kind of with those traditional values, consider myself more of a Christian today. But my desire came that Jesus was spending most of his time feeding and healing people. I didn't want to be a farmer. And so I thought, well, maybe, I could invent things to heal people a little bit better. And so I got started with that. But I was working on, I had a company with 4 other guys, and we were inventing survival equipment for the U.S. Navy through government contractors. And I worked on one Tesla-inspired invention, which was a bladeless turbine. We had a unique take on it that I think Tesla would have really liked. And that project was quite successful. And that led into, I was invited to be part of a design team for one of the Navy's next generation mini subs. And I began thinking about how to improve the survivability of the crew. And I thought, well, if we could find a way to naturally improve their energy instead of them taking drugs, then that would be something very, very helpful. And I took several years and came up with this idea that we could create a device that could communicate with the body with energy to elevate fat burning in the body, that we would have a natural way of improving energy and health. And so in 2004, I took the technology public, and we set up the network marketing company, and off we went. So that's a very brief, condensed history of how I got started on the LifeWave journey.
Yeah, extraordinary. So I know your first patch was, which I love and adore, which is, of course, the X39. So I just wanted, just so that people can appreciate, how did this patch come about, and how did it evolve in terms of the creation? So what prompted you to create, sorry, I should go back here, X39, everybody. This one is, sorry, I've just got so much light here in New York City. Yeah.
Yeah, so X39, not surprisingly, is my favorite patch to date because of some of the really extraordinary things that we've learned about it over the years. But the story behind it is really the most fascinating out of any of the other products, I think, because it was about 10 years in development. And the basis for it was that in the beginning of the company, we had very humble goals. We wanted to improve people's quality of life with products that improve their energy, relieve their pain, and improve their sleep, and do it with light and energy. And then what I began to find out in our research was that we could use this technology to cause the body to synthesize peptides. So I first applied this in elevating glutathione, the body's master antioxidant, carnosine, and in our Eon patch. And then the thought became around 2008, well, where is the future of health and medicine? And it's going to be in stem cells and regeneration. So I wanted very much for the company to be a part of that, and started to think about how could we create new technology to rival stem cell injections or improve upon stem cells. And we began doing a number of clinical studies with people, doctors and scientists here in the United States. We had a working relationship with the National University of Ireland in Galway on the west coast of Ireland. And we did some really incredible work. And that formed the basis for figuring out how we could activate the stem cells in the body, do it safely, do it the way that that God created us to activate the stem cells. So everything's in harmony, and do it in a way that is very cost effective and available to everyone. And so X39 was the culmination of 10 years of figuring out how to do this, and it has been a phenomenal success for us.
Yes, quite incredible. And I just wanted to share a little sideline story that there is a regenerative doctor that I know in Los Angeles actually that does stem cell, but he uses the stem cells from, we won't say human remains, everybody knows what I'm talking about, which I'm not a fan of. And it was interesting because, and he does a lot of the Hollywood actors or whatever, and he actually confided in me that these are the stem cells that he wears. He wears the patches. So this is pretty revealing coming from a doctor. And guys, it's no secret who it is because I've actually done an interview with him, and you will find it on my channels. And there's only one that I've interviewed, so you can have a look at my Greek friend there. So I thought that was pretty amazing validation coming from a stem cell doctor about your products. I thought I'd just let you know.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, we have many doctors that are interested in LifeWave that have become part of our community, or that we've done clinical studies with. And, you know, there is, I would say, a synergy between X39 and stem cell injections. They can definitely work together. And another technology that I invented that we developed here, the double helix conductor, the future that I see that we're going to is that people will be able to heal more rapidly than they could ever imagine. I would put it on the same scale as science fiction, because we've seen wounds that close within 10 to 15 minutes. So in the future, the type of injuries that are life-threatening today, or it could be something people are in an accident, they get a broken bone, they have internal damage. The future is that people will be given an injection of stem cells, will be able to use our tech to speed up the activity of those stem cells beyond what they're normally capable of. The injury will heal within minutes, and then you'll use a product like X39 for aftercare to continue to support the overall health of the body. And it's an exciting future for sure.
Yes. Just another thought that came to my mind. So this is another question, and what I'd like to relay and see what your view is. I was, all my family died from cancer except for me. And I put it down to the fact that I seeked out all the ancient Greek therapies, and one of them included light therapy or phototherapia. And what I did, David, is I turned my body into a high vibrational working celestial chamber by using light therapy, sound therapy, so it was all about frequency and vibration, the whole Tesla thing, and healed myself. And I have always been an advocate of you can heal by adopting things such as light therapy, which is what you offer, or quantum therapy, and you can actually help your body and kickstart it to self-heal so that you don't even need to see in the future. I haven't seen a doctor for over 20 years. No. My body is a functioning high vibrational med bed that heals everything, because I lift the energy through LifeWave, and then of course through high vibrational frequency food. You know, I eat a lot of organic, raw fruit and vegetables. So it's a mind, body, spirit approach. What
Yep.
do you say to that form of healing?
I would say that science supports what you just said, is that if we're consuming clean, healthy, organic food that's been grown the way that nature and God intended, that we're not polluting our bodies, that energy medicine can be extraordinarily effective. Some of the basis for this would be the work done by Fritz Pop, who was looking at biophoton emission from cancer cells versus healthy cells and was able to pinpoint those differences. So he certainly believed that what we could do is simply turn off cancer cells with the right wavelengths of light. And there's some new literature that would definitely support upregulation of mitochondrial function as one means for stimulating the immune system and suppressing the activity of cancer cells. So, of course, with our patches, we don't make any medical claims,
Yes.
but if we were going to talk about active light sources like cold lasers, there are definitely places for it. I have an invention that's right here on my desk, actually, and it's called a biophotonic reflector. And we've done some age reversal studies with it, which are pretty shocking. And this is a device that is biomimetic. And I was studying a number of different living organisms and how they essentially don't age. And one of the effects that we found with this is that it could rapidly alter the pH of the blood. So as an example, in one individual, the pH went from 7.6 to 9.8 in only 10 minutes. So the prospect of this is that with only light, we could place this device over a tumor and we could alkalize the tumor very rapidly, neutralizing the lactic acid and interfering with the normal metabolism of the cancer cell, potentially killing it, all done completely passively with light. So I would say, based on the experiences that we've had in our studies and with literature that's available, that having a clean diet, exercise, proper sleep, clean water, and using energy medicine, the body can achieve some truly extraordinary things, including healing from diseases like cancer.
Yes. And David, I use myself as validation, as that example of, basically, if I can do it, anybody could do it. And I do share everything with everybody that I did. I don't keep anything a secret because I'm here, my mission, and this is why I left my professional corporate career, because God Creator said to me, Maria, now I helped heal you and I gave you the tools. Now you need to give all those tools to people, give them for free, and now they have them. And you will be the example that it is possible. And this is what we're talking about here, David. It's available. So it's not as if, it's not available and can't be done. Now, one of the questions that I get in relation to your patches is, people say to me, oh, Maria, what's in this patch that makes it so amazing and so successful in terms of, that activates, there's peptides and stem cells and whatever, to sort of heal. So what's this extraordinary thing in it? Because people look at it and think, oh my God, such a small thing like that can do all of that.
Yeah. So the first thing is that someone new to LifeWave that they'd want to know is that this is a non-transdermal technology. So the type of patches that people are familiar with are smokers patches, dieters patches, where you have some type of drug or chemical or herb, and you're passing that from the patch into the skin. This is a transdermal mechanism. These patches, the LifeWave patches, are non-transdermal, meaning there's no drug or chemical or herb that are in the patch that get into the body. Instead, the patch is activated by your body heat, and they stimulate the skin with very specific wavelengths of light. Scientifically, this is called photobiomodulation. It's a form of light therapy. The way that most people would think about it is you go out in the sun, and sunlight causes your body to make vitamin D. This is a great example of how light initiates a biochemical change in the body. And as you correctly pointed out, at least a few thousand years ago in ancient Greece, they were experimenting with different colored glass and then using sunlight to see what effect that would have on the body. Of course, a process that in some ways was lost to time was how the ancient Greeks would take gold and they would use the gold to create rose-colored glass. This, of course, made it into some of the ancient churches. And so you would go into a church and feel a healing because of the way the glass was made. But the ancient Greeks were, as you know, pretty smart, and we owe them a lot. But one of the things was light therapy. I don't think the ancient Greeks get enough credit for light therapy. Certainly many other things, but they don't get enough credit for the work they did in light therapy.
Yes, yes. David, as I said, I have written, people know I've written a book where I cover a lot of the different therapies in ancient Greece because they're the therapies that I use to heal. And one of them, did, of course, use light therapy. So, and therapy, of course, being an ancient Greek word. Now, the next question I wanted to ask is in terms of placement of these patches. So I'll just tell you what I do, and then I want your professional opinion. I'm pretty much guided by God each day as to where I actually wear 3 at the moment. I started off with the X39, and I did that for about 6 months. And then I introduced the X39 because then that was the new one. So I did the bundle. And now what I do for everybody, just to let everybody know, because I like to be honest, I'm on this one here. I call it the NAC on steroids. Okay? That's what I, because I really do feel the difference. I used to take NAC. I don't. I take that. Given what's going on in the environment with this and so on, I think that's why I'm taking it, everybody. You know what I'm talking about. Spike proteins, we won't go there. So what I do is I'm guided. So sometimes if I feel my pineal gland is really pulsating when I'm meditating, or I might get a slight headache from the ascension symptoms, I will put it up here. Okay, you might think I'm a little bit nuts, but we won't go there.
No, that's actually a very popular place to apply them.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. That's good. And then I don't have any pains, but I suggest, to people that I work with or buy them from me, if they have pain, to put it, directly on the pain spot. So I wanted to ask your professional opinion, because people ask me, well, Maria, where's the best place for me to place this?
Yeah, so I would say this is based on our clinical studies. We have over 80 clinical studies, and we've tested applying these to acupuncture points. We use as a convention the point on the back of the neck and below the belly button. And so the good news here is that, let's say we started with X39, since that's about 50% of our sales. What we have found through practical experience and through clinical studies is that almost anywhere you apply the patch, it works. So while in our instructions, you would place it behind the neck or below the belly button, as you pointed out, if someone had a pain or they had an injury, if they wanted to apply the patch at that location, there's really no reason they couldn't. We wouldn't want them to apply it to an open wound. The wound should be covered and protected, but you could apply the patch on top of a Band-Aid, if you wanted to. So another protocol that works really well for people that have pain or they want to support natural healing of an injury is they could apply X39 behind the neck and then the Eon patch or the glutathione patch to the injury. So both of these products are going to help to manage inflammation. And this is a really important thing in healing. The stem cells are attracted to the inflammation, but the inflammation also kills off those stem cells. So if we can reduce the inflammatory response and manage it properly and support that with our patches, then the stem cells are actually going to work better and heal the body faster. So there's any number of ways of using them. But as you said, I experiment with them quite often. And sometimes I'll go by intuition, or I will palpate. I'll take my index finger and just apply pressure to the body. And if I get a point that's a little sore, in acupuncture, that would be a sign that, hey, that point needs a little bit more attention, and I might put a patch there.
Wow, amazing. And last night, interestingly enough, the 3 patches that you just mentioned, which was the X39, the Aeon, and this one here, of course, that I take, I posted my Telegram channel of a lady that shared a testimonial of her pet dog that had stitches and scars, and she put those 3 patches around this the stitches. It was incredible. And I put pictures of the before and after, and she said that her dog healed so quickly. So I wanted to also flag that, I have seen these being used on pets as well. I mean, aside from the horses, the one that you created for horses, I do see other people putting them on other pets, such as dogs and cats.
Oh, yes. Well, we've done clinical studies on horses and also dogs. I am a dog lover, an animal lover, as is both of my kids. And we have a Rottweiler and an Australian Shepherd, and they get patched quite regularly. And we found that when they get a stomach ache, they're not quite feeling well, that the patches work pretty remarkably. But we have some good scientific evidence from our studies. We've done thermography work where you can actually see the inflammation coming down in the animals. So they do work, in fact, for pets.
Yes. I wanted to flag that because I've seen extraordinary results with pets. So the next one I wanted to ask is, which are your favorite patches and which ones are you wearing right now, David? Just out of interest.
Okay, so let's see. Right now,
personal now.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Well, first, for full disclosure, I am almost always experimenting with new patches or new products or new tech, almost regularly. But as a standard, I use X39 and X49. And I would have today X39 behind the neck and X49 below the belly button. I'm also doing some high intensity cardio. I do 4 Tabatas in the morning. And just because it's summer coming up and I want to be in a little bit extra better shape. So I'm doing some extra cardio in the morning. And so I have a carnosine patch on in addition, and I have a set of energy patches on the bottom of my feet. In the evening, I will typically use the Eon patch. And I love the Eon patch because it has a number of longevity benefits. It supports immune function, it manages inflammation, and it reduces stress on the nervous system. So what I found, we originally designed the Eon patch for use during the day, but then as other patches came out, what I found was that using the Eon patch at night, it could relax the nervous system and improve the quality of sleep. So I really like Eon at night.
Fantastic. Is there a maximum of patches that one can wear? Because I'm doing 3 at the moment. I mean, if I went to the Aeon as well, 4, I would be pretty much okay, because that's the next one on my list to add. Because people do ask me, how many patches? Is it okay if I wear 3, Maria?
Yeah, I would say first that a person should be strategic about it and cycle the patches. There is a point of diminishing returns. So let's say if you took a case where someone was not in pain, then let's say 1 set of energy patches is fine. There are many days, like when we have our convention, I'll use 2 sets of energy patches because I know I want that extra boost. Because I'm going to be on my feet for 12, 14 hours. But on normal cases, 1 set is fine. If you take an individual with acute pain, 1 set of LifeWave is fine. But if they have chronic pain and it's systemic, so let's say we've patched a lot of people with MS, Parkinson's disease, and they have pain throughout the whole body. So using one set of ice wave on the bottom of the feet, and then one set on the upper torso, such as the trapezius muscles, that can work extraordinarily well. On X39, our blood tests and other clinical studies have been with one patch. And so adding a second patch might not really help out a lot. Glutathione is a bit different. Glutathione is extremely interesting. I won't travel without it because I've had a number of experiences where using, let's say, 3 glutathione patches simultaneously at an injury site is much better than 1. We don't make any medical claims, so I can't exactly say what that was. But most of the time, a single patch will do it. Now, in terms of the different patches on the body, I would say keep it pretty simple. So X39, X49 energy patches as a regular basis is pretty good. And then if you wanted to use like carnosine and Eon at night, that would be a good protocol because they both tend to relax the body. So there's a number of ways to mix and match there.
Amazing. And I always say to everybody, please don't wear them 24 hours, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. They do continue to work after the 12 hours when you take them off. Otherwise, am I correct? It defeats the whole purpose. It can actually have an adverse effect. Am I correct, David? If they wear,
well, there's not an adverse effect, so to speak.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay. No, it's not an adverse effect, so to speak. It's a phenomena called attenuation. And this is very well known in phototherapy, where if you can, let's say you took an active laser, if you were to continue to stimulate the body would stop responding. So we found in our studies, when people use them for 12 hours on, 12 hours off, they continue to respond to the effect. But our concern would be that number one, if you left it on, the body would eventually stop responding. And then number two, the patch is designed to trap body heat. So if people left them on more than 12 hours, there's a risk that a heat rash could develop and it would become irritating to the skin. So yeah, for a number of reasons, it's good to give the body a rest.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for correcting me there. The next question I have is what I notice with some people when they put, I always get them to start with the X39 and then we build up, very important. I find with some, people, they put it on and they almost get instant results as far as pain. And then other people, I'll find it takes a little bit longer. Might take a few days and so on, but to see the results and benefits. Can you maybe explain why that is? That for me it was instant, for other people it takes a little bit longer. Why that might be, please?
Yeah, actually, this is something that you touched on a little bit earlier, is that when people have a foundation of health in place, when they're eating healthy, they're exercise, getting rest, hydrating, their body is going to respond much more quickly to energy medicine. When someone had, what we found as a practical matter, and then also searching through the literature on different energy medicine techniques like acupuncture, we found out that if people were dehydrated, or if people were lacking calcium, potassium, or magnesium, the electrolytes, that the tissue conductivity was impaired and they would not respond as quickly as opposed to people that had a clean diet and they were well hydrated. So the message here would be that if people want to have optimum health, they should consume plenty of water each day, keep their system flushed, and also have a diet that would be rich in minerals. And, especially with some focus on even supplementing with potassium and magnesium, since at least 60% of the population is going to have a magnesium deficiency, and with potassium could be over 90% of the population. And so, yeah, these are the culprits and the difference between why some people respond so quickly and others don't.
Yes, absolutely. And another thing that I've noticed, David, is as my consciousness and my vibrational frequency that I focus on keeps increasing, I'm finding the benefit keeps maximizing. So I'm noticing the vibrational frequency of my body as that changes. I'm noticing subtle changes with the patches as well. And everybody, this is why I keep saying to everybody on my channel, guys, watch my video, Q Consciousness. Again, very important that we keep lifting our vibrational frequency and keep heading towards Q Consciousness. This is what activates all the new quantum technology that's coming, the new quantum financial system, the new quantum internet that we've all discussed, the quantum celestial chambers. So everything is intention and vibration. Very important is what I say to them, David. I don't know what you think about that, but it is the future.
Yeah, the future, the future can be incredibly exciting. Oh, my apologies. I thought I put that on silent.
No problem. It's okay.
Yeah, the future can be incredibly exciting. There's a number of new technologies coming now that hold enormous potential, and human beings are going to have to adapt. I'm not really while I like somebody like Elon Musk from the point of view of being an entrepreneur, I don't agree with him that the solution is to implant computer chips into our brain. That's not the direction I would really go in. So I would very much agree with you that human beings need to transition, and the gateway is going to be love, achieving a state of peace and harmony with those around us, and really fulfilling our mission as human beings to help others and use the gifts that we have to make the lives of others better, and support this planet. And we've really done a disservice, mostly men, I think, not women. I would say that if you look at the culprits behind the demise of planet Earth, it's been men almost 100% of the time. The women are the healers, the men are the destroyers, right? Little yin yang there. But the bottom line is the planet is polluted and it needs to be cleaned. We need clean energy. We need clean food, clean water and air. And it's really up to us to create the technology to do that, and do it from a place of love and healing. And this is one of the things that is my focus today with LifeWave. We started out very humble position about wanting to provide this new technology to improve quality of life. And we're in a position today where we keep putting more money into development. We've produced some new technology in our lab, some of which we're going to unveil at our August convention. And I'm going to open up the door and show people what the next 10 years at LifeWave are going to hold, and how we have solutions to some of the biggest problems that are facing the planet today. But I want to do it from the point of view of love, peace, and harmony, and hopefully, doing some really great things in the world.
Amen. Amen. One of the things that I always preach is agape, unconditional love is the way. And something that I did mention at the beginning of your bio, electromagnetism. Electro is the left side of the brain, which is the male. The magnetism is the female side of the brain, which is the right brain. So we need both male and female to come together and balance out. And what's been happening in the past, as I keep saying to people, is we're focused way too much on the ego and the electricity, and we've forgotten the magnetism, the feminine, which is what, Nikola Tesla, yourself, and also have brought back into quantum healing and and medicine, which is bringing the male and the female together. And this is why I love what you do and love what, Nikola Tesla did, because you're bringing the male and the female together. That's why healing hasn't worked. We're focused just on the electricity and forgotten the magnetism. So the next thing I wanted to ask, which is an interesting question, and you did alert to it at the beginning, that this is a network marketing company. And what I wanted to ask is a question I get often: why is this a network marketing company? Why wasn't it some sort of other structure?
I started in 2002 as an inventor, and that's really all I ever wanted to be. And so I set up LifeWave in 2002 and began doing clinical studies, doing some test marketing, setting up manufacturing, trying to figure out how we're going to take this thing and, make a ton of them. And along the way, I was not thinking about network marketing. I was thinking about really the traditional routes of distribution, getting them out into pharmacies or putting advertisements on TV or radio. And I was on, it was 2 months after setting up the business, I was on a flight and I sat next to this guy who had been a top earner in a network marketing company. And we began talking. And he said, your product is the perfect product for networking. And I said, well, I would never put this product into network marketing. It's the industry really has a bad name. But so that was quite ironic. But over time, really what I found out was that if network marketing company was run with honesty and integrity, and you were to set up the structure properly, and then it could be really something incredible. And what I had found over the period of this 2 years is I couldn't get anyone in a traditional distribution model to understand the technology. They were looking at it as, I had went to GNC and they were looking at it like the product of the month. And, they couldn't get where this could go. So I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this, I have to do it myself. And so fortunately, I had a lot of good people that helped me out along the way, a lot of great distributors. And so in November of 2004, LifeWave was started as a networking company, and it's been amazing. So I hope that we can be a symbol for other companies, that if you treat your leaders and your members with the respect that they deserve because they're building the business, the company does what it's supposed to do, set up and provide the manufacturing, the research, the clinical studies, the product development. If you do all those things correctly and you work as a partner, as a partnership and a team, then you can really have something that other companies and other industries can look at and admire. And together, you can change the world in a really great way. So network marketing has been an unbelievable blessing for me. And it's been a vehicle where our members and the company have accomplished some truly extraordinary things working together.
Yes, yes. And David, just as a side note, I've worked with a couple of other network marketing companies that I have to say don't work with your model, and I've left them. They worked with, everybody was competitive, and it was all about me, all about me. What I have found refreshing and why I love not just the product, and I believe in it, and it's worked for me, but the group of people that I work with Onyx and Jill and the rest of them, we all help one another. We're all vibrating on high consciousness. We're all about agape. There's no competition. It's the first time I've worked with a company, with a group of people and a product where everybody's like, Maria, what can I do for you today? I'm like, are you for real? And, and likewise, I leave my door open for everybody, that works with me, not for me. They work with me. This is the important thing. It's we, not me. And it's like, how can I help you? What can I do? It's like everybody leaves the door open. We're all about helping everybody be successful at the same time and not leave anybody behind. So I just want to put that out there, that that's what your company has achieved. And everybody knows I have a law background and an accounting background. So I've worked with a lot of companies in business, and they've all been cutthroat and competitive. And I have to say, this is the first one, and I really mean this, David, this is the first company I've encountered that has this philosophy.
I appreciate that. We work hard at that. And, I do want to give credit where credit is due. Onyx is amazing. I've had the privilege of getting to know Onyx and doing a number of meetings with her. She's extraordinary. She's absolute blessing. And I am so grateful and thankful that she's a part of our company. But she really embodies the goals and the ambitions of this business, that you can be successful, help people along the way, and not have that cutthroat culture, that you see at so many other businesses. So I'm very, very grateful to have Onyx in the LifeWave family.
Yes, and I'm grateful that God actually led me to her. So, but it's all about the energy, isn't it? Like attracts like. So if you vibrate on love and happiness and joy, which is what you're all about, and you genuinely want to be of service to humanity, guess what? God brings you with the right people. That's all I have to say. So you
Agreed.
touched on August, and you may not be able to say too much, but I'm very excited. I'm going to be there. And I know you're going to have some new, the next 10 new technology. Is there maybe a little hint that you can give us? I know you can't give us too much because you're going to do the big reveal, but maybe what we can expect. How's that?
Let's see. I have.
It's okay, I understand, but I thought
I tell you, there's something I'm looking over. I'm in my lab right now.
How exciting!
Well, no, I shouldn't say that exactly. I'm in my office, and I have a one part of my lab set up in the office, and I have several other labs in the building. But I'm looking, I have an invention that I am bringing to convention. And this is going to confuse people, which is okay for the moment. It's a good teaser. But I've invented the world's first, what I think is the world's first nanotechnology Frisbee. Okay. And some people may say, well, what does that have to do with LifeWave and the patches? And if you come to convention, then you'll get the whole picture. And I'm going to be giving away to a few of our senior presidential directors as gifts these nanotechnology Frisbees. We haven't quite decided who's getting them yet and why, but I thought it would be a fun thing to do. It's something that I invented very, very recently, and it has a connection to something that we're doing in the company. So I'm going to have some fun with that. But actually at convention, the main focus is I'm going to be talking about the vision that we have for the business over the next 3, 5, and 10 years. I'm going to unveil some new age reversal technology that I've come up with. I'm going to be showing a video that I took in my lab that is going to blow people away. It's going to look like magic, but it's real. It's going to be pretty exciting. So people are going to see some new age reversal tech. They're going to see how it's going to apply to them. We're going to talk about how this fits in with our product line, and people are going to be super excited. Plus a lot of surprises.
Wow, I'm excited. So I'm approaching 60, and I didn't have any wrinkles, thank God. So everything I talk about.
That's extraordinary, by the way. I would not place that at all.
Yeah. Will it make me look like 10? I'm only joking. Joking.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because with age reversal, people start to age at 25. So, hypothetically, we could reverse people back to 25. I think getting people back into their 30s is imminently practical. So when I've had telomere tests done on myself, they come in where I'm age 32. Now, telomeres are only one marker of biological aging. There's many other markers. So we have a number of different techniques that we use to measure biological age. Blood tests and urine tests are only one of them. There's, of course, genetic mapping that you can do. We have a device here called a Menla scan. We look at mitochondrial function, telomere length. We do these things. So I would say that, the goal with this is first stop the aging process, keep people as young and healthy as long as possible, and then use some of the new techniques that we've come up with to actually reverse biological aging. And we'll talk about that as well.
Yep. And I'm hearing it's got a little bit of a Nikola Tesla and stuff like that all over. You know, a question that just came to me. I know Nikola Tesla always said, if a person understands the significance of 3, 6, and 9, they would have the key to the universe. And you know, the first time I bought the X39, I noticed that you use the 3 and the 9. 9 minus 3 equals 6. So I noticed straight away you had the magic of 369 on this. Not
Right.
only that, I'm very big on sacred geometry and the mathematics, you know, which has the tree of life and all sorts of things. And I could see straight away when I saw the packet that you had put a lot of thought into your technology, taking into account sacred geometry, the magic of 369, and also ancient Greek, ancient Egyptian, and so on. So was the X39 a hint from Tesla? Because you got the 369 happening here on those. I just
Yes. So I think I'm very familiar with that saying about the 369, and I've looked into that phenomena for years. There is a very specific way to create electromagnetic fields using 369 geometry. I don't want to take the time to get into that just now, but with X39, you know, the Eon patch was the X15. So as I'm inventing new patches, they get, you know, assigned that number sequentially. And when I invented the X39, it actually wasn't number 39 in my notebook, but because when I found out really how powerful it was, I said, no, this is special. And I'm going to skip it ahead and put it as number 39. And then you saw that we have the sunflower design, which symbolizes actually a novel blend. You've got a scalar field or longitudinal field there in the sunflower, and that very much is symbolic of some of the things going on with X39. So yes, you'd be absolutely correct.
Wow, fantastic. All right, I've only got a couple more questions. This one's an easy one. What do you do for fun, David?
Well, that's actually a difficult one. I don't get a lot of time for fun. I like to go out with my kids and enjoy a good meal on a Friday or a Saturday night. I love to exercise, so I have a gym in the house, and I'll get in and do that. I like a good hot chocolate every once in a while. My son and I like to go to the new Marvel movies when they come out. So, and then, you know, just try to read and relax a little bit at night after I've kind of finished up work. But, you know, these days, my inventing keeps me busy. We have an awful lot of new projects. So, strangely enough, after all these years, I'm working more hours now than I ever did before. And, but I've never been more excited about the prospects for the future. And we have some incredible opportunities. And I'm so excited about sharing these with the members.
Amazing. So last question, which is basically a general one. Do you have any parting words of wisdom or anything else that you wanted to share really in relation, you know, to LifeWave, David, with the audience, please?
Yeah, I think what I'd say is that the future is incredibly exciting. We're going to be venturing into some new areas. There's a new technology and new product that I'm going to be talking about at convention, and talking very much about what our members can expect in the coming years. And we're going to be getting into technology, releasing things that we've developed here that will go well beyond the patches. And we're going to be talking about a LifeWave lifestyle. So this is going to cover really every facet of a person's life and how they can incorporate energy medicine and energy products into their daily lives that will lead to age reversal effects. So I'm super excited about that. The other thing is, which we've touched on, is the really the necessity at this point to have a love for one another, so we can make the planet a better place. For those that are maybe skeptical about this, or it becomes a little bit more difficult, there is a self-serving reason to want to love oneself and love others. And that is when you do that, your levels of oxytocin in the body come up. And when you have elevated levels of oxytocin, it acts as a age reversal hormone in the body, and you can actually regenerate your muscle tissue back to a younger, healthier state. So the benefit that you get for yourself of being in a state of love is that it produces age reversal partially in the human body. So I would just say it's so important to give thanks each day to God for everything that you do have. We certainly all go through our struggles, but having a daily practice of giving thanks and loving others when we can is a lifelong practice that will produce enormous benefits.